Jack nodded, and Samo neared the box from his smaller bag. The chess box was 1 foot by 2 foot. There was a large boulder with a flat side they were using as a table. He set the box down. The glow came at once. No slow brightening, no gentle shimmer. It erupted, fierce and sudden, as if a fire had been lit inside the wood. Jack stepped back. Max moved without thinking, placing himself between Thalan and the light, his body angled to shield. All the men stood, hands on weapons. A voice spoke in everyone's mind, deep, ancient, resonant. The 16 are united. Then the words followed, not spoken but declared, as if they had been carved into the bones of the world long before any of them were born. 16 pieces, 16 vows. One army sleeps within these bows. Call them when the end draws near, when hope has fled and death draws clear. Each riddle spoken binds you more until you cannot stand before the weight of what you have called to wake, the price that you agreed to make. Jack Blackstone, repeat the vow you have given to the night. Jack felt the command settle over him. There was no resisting it. He closed his eyes, drew a breath, and spoke the words quietly. I will protect those I love. I will fight for those who cannot fight for themselves. I will make the world better than I found it. As the last syllable left his mouth, he heard other voices, speaking with him, not after him, with him. Jack's eyes snapped open. Luke's lips were moving, Thomas's, Andrew's. Every man in the room was speaking the vow. He heard Nessa's voice in his mind, not repeating the words, but speaking them in unison, as if she had always known them. The only thing heard was the crackling of the fire. Jack's heart pounded. He did not know what had just happened, but he felt the weight of it settle into the air. The men stood slowly, one by one, as if lifted upright by invisible hands. Their eyes were clear, focused. There was no confusion on their faces, only certainty. Jack turned and saw Nessa rising the same way. Then he felt it, a pressure against his chest, pushing outward through his ribs, his shoulders, down into his gut. The vow was no longer his alone. It was theirs. It lived in the space between them, binding them together like a single breath shared among 16 souls. An image flashed in his mind. The chess box, the ornate pieces, the board that felt alive beneath his fingers, and carved into the lid, the words he had seen once before, the realm of chained souls. He opened the lid. Light exploded outward. The circle of men, and in the darkness of night, filled with brilliance, white and gold, and something that did not belong to this world. Men threw up their arms. Some stumbled back against the walls. Thomas swore under his breath. Andrew's hand went to his sword before he caught himself. From the box, an ethereal form rose. It floated upward, translucent and shimmering, bluish-white like moonlight on water. But the eyes burned red, twin coals in a spectral face, the Black Knight. It unfolded the same way it had in the cave. This was the other knight, the one that had remained in the box. Slowly, deliberately, its arms extended, its legs straightened, the massive form rising until it stood at its full height, 10 feet tall. The knight was translucent. Jack could see the wall through its body, but it was there, solid, real. Its presence pressed down on the room like a physical weight. It bent forward and stared at each man, one by one. The red eyes burned into them, unblinking, searching. Lastly, they settled on Nessa. Jack recognized the look. He had seen it in the cave when the knight accepted his vow. That terrible scrutiny, as if the knight could see through flesh and bone into the soul beneath. The silence stretched. 5 heartbeats, 10. No one moved. No one breathed. It felt like a test they did not understand and could not afford to fail. Then the knight inclined its head, slowly, deliberately, a gesture older than kingdoms. Then it spoke. At last, the 16 have come together. Its voice resonated through the room, deep and final, like the closing of a tomb. All of your vows I have witnessed. Your souls speak truth as they always have, as they always will. The 16 are now one. Jack felt the words settle over them like a mantle, heavy, binding, permanent. He knew what was coming next, though he could not have said how. The night straightened. It looked upward, toward the heavens beyond the ceiling. Creator, then softer, Father, the 16 have been formed as it was ordained at the creation of this world. The time is at hand. Creator, your covenant is sealed. The army outside the box is now formed. Thunder answered. A voice followed, vast and unmistakable. It is good. Lightning split the sky. The ground shook. The flash lit the forest around them with white light. The night folded in on itself, arms collapsing inward, legs bending. The massive form compressed into something small and weightless. The ethereal piece hovered for a moment, then drifted back into the box. The room dimmed, only for a heartbeat. Another form rose, smaller, more graceful. It unfolded the same way the night had, arms extending, legs straightening, until it stood at its full height, 6.5 feet tall. The Queen. Jack stared. She was the most beautiful woman he had ever seen. A crown rested on her head, delicate and intricate, glowing faintly. Her face was regal, sharp-featured, with high cheekbones and a mouth carved like marble. Her eyes moved across the room, pausing on each man. When they reached Jack, he felt exposed, seen, as if she knew every secret he had ever kept. Her voice was sharp and clipped. Each word ended cleanly, like the snap of a blade. You have entered into a covenant with the Creator. She looked upward and brought her hands together in a single, sharp clap. Thunder answered. Lightning flashed. Then the beams came. Light shot out of the box in brilliant streams, striking every man. Jack felt the first beam hit his bicep, then another to his chest, his abdomen, his legs. Heat surged through him, like molten metal poured into his veins. His muscles grew. He felt the fibers thicken, expand, harden. His arms swelled. His chest broadened. His legs felt like iron. Beside him, Max grunted. His frame stretched upward. Jack felt his own spine lengthen, his shoulders rise. 3 inches, maybe more. Even his clothes grew with him, the fabric stretching to fit his new size. A final beam struck his neck. Jack gasped. The heat was intense, focused, like a brand pressed into his skin. When it faded, he reached up and touched the spot. A tattoo. He could feel the raised lines, the intricate design. A knight on horseback, sword raised, the horse rearing. Max touched his own neck, eyes wide. Jack saw the edge of the same mark. Across the room, Nessa took a beam to the chest, then another to her neck. She did not flinch, but her hand rose to her throat, fingers tracing the mark left behind. The Queen's chess piece. The other men were struck as well, every one of them. The beams bathed them in light, and Jack saw the changes, subtle but real. Their bodies hardened, Their postures straightened. Then, all at once, the beams snapped back into the box. The light vanished. The Queen spoke again. "You have been given the boon of fortitude. This comes directly from the Creator. You are stronger now, more resilient. You can endure what others cannot." A small smile touched her lips. "You represent the army of the Creator. You are the army outside the box." Another beam shot from the box, brilliant and white-hot, striking every person in the room directly in the forehead. Jack's vision exploded with light. For a moment, there was nothing but radiance. Then he saw himself, arms stretched wide, palms open, kneeling, or standing, or floating. The position did not matter. Light poured down from above, washing over him like rain. He sensed the others around him in the same posture. Max, Nessa, the soldiers, all of them receiving, all of them open. The light was warm, not burning, warm like coming home. Then the vision snapped back into the box. The beams vanished. The light died. Jack blinked. His forehead tingled. The Queen turned slowly, her ancient eyes moving across each of them. She paused, looking upward, as if listening to something only she could hear. When she looked back down, there was something almost vulnerable in her expression. "This truly is a gift," she said quietly. "I would not have given it myself, but the Creator has deemed you worthy." Her voice shifted, becoming formal. "The Creator has offered you another boon, a portion of my power, given to each of you. When you are struck with any injury, any wound, any sickness, your body will begin to heal itself, naturally, completely. Given enough time, you will mend from anything except death itself." She paused. "Do not die." Jack felt warmth spread through his body, starting at his forehead and radiating outward. He looked down at his hands. A small cut on his knuckle, forgotten since the dragon fight, began to close. Slowly, deliberately, like a flower blooming in time-lapse. Around the room, he heard soft gasps. Nessa touched her ribs. The bruise from the ant fight eased beneath her fingers. Max flexed his arm, watching a scrape knit itself together. One of the soldiers whispered that his old shoulder break no longer hurt. The healing was real. Jack looked up at the Queen. They had been marked, blessed, chosen, set apart. The Queen turned to Max. "Max, Youngblood." Her voice was formal. She raised one hand, and a massive sword appeared in her grip, a perfect replica of the Black Knight's blade, huge, gleaming, impossibly sharp. "You have been given the boon of the Black Knight. When we stand on the field together, you may summon this sword. Think of it for 5 seconds and it will appear. Wish it away and it will vanish. You are taller now, stronger, half again, as strong as you were. Wear this mantle with pride." Max stared at the sword, his mouth slightly open. The Queen turned to Jack. "Jack Blackstone." She studied him, her expression unreadable. "You wear your mother's name." Jack's breath caught. His heart hammered. He did not know what she knew, but he felt exposed beneath her gaze. She tilted her head the other way, as if considering something. For a moment, Nessa thought she might speak Jack's father's name. She did not. "That suits you best," the Queen said quietly. "It would not be good to say your father's name." Jack's thoughts spun. He barely heard the rest of her words as she repeated the boon, the strength, the mantle. Something cold settled in his stomach. He did not know why, but he felt as if a door had opened somewhere far away and something had looked back at him. Then the queen turned to Nessa. Nessa, Youngblood. The room went still. Max's eyes widened. Thalen's jaw dropped. Nessa's hand froze halfway to her chest. Her face went pale. She did not know her own last name. Nessa looked at Max. Thalen looked at Max. Jack looked at Max, then back at Nessa. The queen continued as if nothing unusual had happened. You will carry my mantle into battle. You are the healer. Your power comes directly from the Creator, not from within. It is not unlimited. Remember, you are the only weaver. Be proud. She moved to Alex. Alex Ringvall, you receive the first and truly unique gift of the pawns, for you have seen, and now you know. Only one pawn receives this gift. Your soul has been scoured, and only you could bear the responsibility. This is for you, and only you. Do not share it. You will know the time and place. Then the words came, spoken into his mind. I am the quiet step, the shadow's breath, the one no army sees until too late. Forward I move, step by sacred step, toward the edge where I remake my fate. When queens are needed and the darkness falls, I answer not with sword, but sacrifice. I am the pawn who hears the distant calls and pays the price. The poem burned into him, something he would never forget. Then the queen spoke aloud. You are overlooked. You are resonance. You are the anchor. In the months or years to come, you will understand your boon or your curse. She placed her hands on either side of his face and pulled him forward. She kissed his forehead. The touch burned into his mind, a kiss he would remember for the rest of his life. Thomas stood straighter, his face pale but resolute. There are 5 more boons yet to give, the queen said. 2 from the bishops, 2 from the rooks, and the king. There will be 7 smaller boons from the pawns. The remaining pieces must be found and placed into the box. When they are found, one will be chosen king. She brought her hands together. Thunder answered. A beam shot out, covering Max alone. Silver lines traced across his palms. The beam snapped back into the box. She turned to Jack and Nessa. You now have an additional spark soldier among the 16. Use him wisely. Her gaze swept the room one last time. Do not disappoint. The next time we meet will be on the battlefield. Be prepared. She clapped her hands. Thunder rolled. Then she folded in on herself, collapsing into the small, weightless form. The piece drifted back into the box. The lid slammed shut. The light faded. Jack's head was spinning. The vow, the covenant, the boons, the changes in their bodies, the healing, the queen's words about his father. It all pressed against him at once, too much to sort, too heavy to set down. He could not even form a complete thought. Thalen was the first to speak. I am at a loss for words. He looked at Max, then Jack, then Nessa, then Thomas. His head shook slowly, as if he could not quite believe what he had witnessed. Jack swallowed. His voice felt thin in his throat. You all took the oath. I am sorry. I am not sure what I pulled you into. Several of the men laughed, not mockingly, but with the kind of breathless relief that follows a storm. Silas stepped forward. Jack, we are riding in the wake of destiny. He grinned, the expression bright and certain. I want to be part of this. He laughed. I am part of this now. I am in. The others echoed him. Voices overlapped. Agreement. Certainty. No hesitation among them. Jack nodded and met each man's eyes. I cannot wait to see the other boons when we find the remaining pieces. That set them all talking at once. Questions, laughter, disbelief. The forest filled with noise again.